Okay, just on my lighting. All right, let's get started. December 20th, 2023. This is the eve of our winter solstice time. Probably my favorite time of the year. It is definitely the most important time of the year. It is, as I've said ad nauseum, the time where it will make or break your following year if we miss the opportunity and we devalue the moment. So tonight, I'm gonna get right into it. I'm really excited about these next 4 days. We'll get right into it. Maybe we'll do a review. We'll just kind of, I will kind of go through quickly how I built up this narrative. The narrative of aligning our fasting time with creation time. And the question is, well, what is creation time? Well, creation time is basically using our mental mind, emotions, all of that, and aligning it with spirit, aligning it with source, aligning it with divinity, our divine selves. And this is the strongest time of the year to do that, where our bodies, minds, and spirits have the strongest receptivity. So it's very exciting and very, very important. Okay, so we'll go through the narratives that I'll go through very quickly. Then I want to go into how I interpret the chakras and why just having a basic understanding of what they represent in this narrative, how we can really just further have a deeper understanding. It's so important to really kind of understand how all of this interconnects. And when we can understand how it all interconnects, I think we'll be more enthused to do it. We'll be more, especially when we start to see the magic that we can create. It just really it's a feedback loop that really feeds the practice, because it's all about the practice. Right? These are all muscles that we continuously have to work. Okay, so when we go through the chakras, and then last but not least, talk about the secret of the secret. So the secret. Well, what I'm referring to as the secret is the popular documentary that came out some years ago. If you're I don't know how many years ago. It was a while ago, but it was very popular, especially in the alternative spiritual community. Law of attraction, is very buzz term that came out of that. So I really want to finalize with that. So stay tuned for all of that. Hopefully we'll be finished definitely be finished within an hour. We're going into the next day, into solstice time. All right, so without further ado, again, thank you all for joining, and let's get into it. All right, so, well, first, when we talk about winter solstice, very quickly, we have the shortest days of the year. I mean, the days are not technically shorter. The daylight is shortest, and it's just super significant because our daylight hours create that circadian rhythm. It creates that pattern of when we eat, when we sleep. Everything we do is generated from the sunlight's energy. So how could we not value it, understand it, celebrate it? And we do all of those things really indirectly. So, our most important holidays, that's why our most important holidays are around this time. So it's a very critical time. But what we're doing is we're we're unlocking the hack. See, these are all life to not only creating magic and creation, but really aligning ourselves to lead the most fulfilling life possible. That's what always inspires me. How could I get the most out of this experience? Okay, so if we don't understand winter solstice and aligning your energy with that time, then it would be impossible. We're just like trying to get the most out of a day, but you don't go to sleep at night, or you don't sleep, or you don't get good rest at night to get the most out of your 24-hour day. So I'm trying to get the most out of this 365-day cycle. Uh, for me personally, I know it's going to be an extremely important year. Based on the cycles, and my own personal cycles, and that's true for everyone. No matter where you are in your personal cycle. Okay. So yeah, we got the winter solstice, which starts officially tomorrow. It is a 4-day period, because from the 21st, even though it may be one day in particular where the daylight is shortest, for the most part we look at it as a 4-day period where by the 25th we know that the days are getting longer. Okay, so that again historically was the true celebration of the sun in the sky, where obviously in the northern center of the earth, or the northern hemisphere if you follow the globe theory. Okay, so that's our winter solstice in a nutshell. And then I love this thing I came up with as far as the 4 attributes of beast life versus 4 attributes of divine life. So just to go through those really quickly, because I'm telling you, that's going to be in my next book. I really love it. I want to bang it like a drum. So beast life, indulgence of foods, drugs, drama, and lack, which all of those together will lead to trauma. I guarantee that. Versus the 4 attributes of the divine life, which very quickly is fasting, or just fasting as a lifestyle. Fasting part of the day, fasting once a week, once a cycle, meaning maybe it's a moon cycle, especially for the women, or fasting with the change of seasons. That's with the sun, and of course, this is what we're doing. Winter solstice is this. We're right in tune with that day, with that solar energy. So fasting versus indulgence of food, using meditation instead of drugs. Meditation is the second attribute. A feeling or an attitude. We're in three. We have drama. The third attribute of the divine life is a feeling and an attitude of bliss and joy and love. No drama. Okay. And the beast life, fourth, we had lack. The fourth, we have wealth. So, we're not necessarily talking about external wealth. We're talking about internal, and that's really giving a clue to the secret of the secret, which I'll say for the end of this talk. All right. So I really love that. I love that. And so yeah, so chakras very quickly. Most of us are familiar with the chakras and what they the colors. We got the rainbow colors, with the red and the root chakra, and they go up the rainbow up to the crown chakra, right? But I'm gonna really try to simplify it and really connect it to our narrative. Um, as we add layers to this, as we add layers to it, then it allows us to increase our level of understanding, awareness. It connects us with this, especially when we because ultimately you can write books on this stuff, but if you're not practicing the meditation, it's just like you could write a book on yoga, you can write a book on food, you can write a book on fasting, right? But ultimately it comes down to the practice. So with this understanding, we got to practice it. Okay, so we got our chakras, right? And well, let me just go through them. Well, I'll go through them, the way I see them, because really how I like to think of them is basically narrow it down or simplify it to three. Okay, so we'll start from the bottom. The bottom we know is the root chakra, right? We have our root. That's the sex. That's the creation. We come physically into this physical earth plane through the root, right? And we're created. The act of intimacy, sex, creates that. So it's a very important area, especially in reference to what we're talking about here. Okay, but right above that we have the stomach. We have that area, and that's food. And then of course above that there's I don't remember exactly what it's called, but there's three below the heart. Okay, and I want to put those in one and really just simplify it as that is the root, beast, animal, food, and sex area. Okay, that's what really connects us to this earth center, this earth physical plane. That being one primary chakra center or chakra umbrella. I got to come up with my own term. I'm working on that. Maybe it'll come out of this. But I drew a well, I'll show it at the end of my little, just the visual. But at the bottom here is basically, we have three combining into one, where essentially it's food and sex, right? And that area is, again, we got red, orange, yellow. All right, so that is a brain. Okay, that's the beast brain. That's the animal brain at work. All right, now at the center is the heart, right? That's the green, and that is its own thing. I'm putting that. I'm making that one, the heart. Okay, because that's our feeling center. All right, even though we feel how we, what we eat, and we obviously feel the act of sex. Those operate on feelings as well, but but the most important aspect of feeling, as far as the heart is concerned, is the emotions. All right, and so we're going to get to that. Emotions are here. All right, very important. And then up here, as our third chakra center, or chakra umbrella, chakra category. Again, I'm working on that. I'm gonna come up with some cool terms for that. But up here we have mind. So we have throat chakra, we got the pineal gland chakra, we have the crown chakra, but that's all mind. Communication, we have thoughts, we have intuition. Again, that's mind, and that's what ultimately connects us with source. So we have these three primary centers. So I'm hoping you're seeing it clearly now. When and hopefully you can see where I'm going with this, based on the narrative that we've built over the last couple of weeks. Mind, heart, root, or mind, heart, food, and sex. Okay. So what's going on up here? I mean, we know what's going on down here. And this is why now we freed, and I haven't talked about uh I haven't mentioned sex, but with our fasting, it should also include abstinence. It should include. I did a video a few years back. Should you have sex during a fast? That'd be a good thing to revisit. But ultimately, um, bringing that blood flow, because that's ultimately what, when in the art of intimacy, you're bringing a lot of, you're taking the emotions, you're taking all of the energy from the body and bringing it down to the root chakra. And that's the same thing you're doing when you eat too. You're bringing all of the blood, all of the energy down into the lower self. This is the lower self. Okay, so so as far as our mind area, we have that's obviously, we have thoughts, and this is the masculine principle, right? We talked about this also being the electric side of ourselves. We know that our primary organ is the brain, and the brain being also connected to the spine. And the spine, as far as the nervous, electric part of the body, this is what is, and this is what is part of what we need to really bring our vast energy towards when we think about meditation. Okay, so now when we think about, when we move down to the heart is again the feelings. So now we have thought, and now we have, down here we have feelings. Okay, so feelings is the feminine, is the emotions. All right, and the emotional self, because again, when we think about not really being in control of because most people are in control, bottom working their way up. Their primary brain, the food sex root, that's a brain. And that brain function in the lower self is in control, it takes control of the heart and takes control of the brain. And that begins to, because the thing is that, so not only food, the practice of sex, um, but then, when you start to see this physical reality as part of all that you exist in, you are going to see, you're going to be defined by lack. Again, the fourth attribute of the beast animal life. And when you're defined by lack, then that's going to bring stress, because you're never going to have enough time. There's never going to be enough money. There's never going to be enough peace. No matter what blessings may come, there's still always a thirst for more when you're ruled by your lower self, that lower chakra energy. So again, I mean, they work together. They work together. The heart. Okay. So, but ultimately, if we want to make change, we want to bring transformation, it has to start from up here. It has to start from up here. So we have to realize that we have to fill the mind with information, and we have to bring that information. That information, it has to hit on different levels, where it's not enough to necessarily. Again, I talked about reading. Uh, if you read certain materials, but even writing or knowing, that's not even half the battle. Once you accept, okay, like even the information that I'm talking about is truth, now it's time for the practice. because again, and that's why the evening, to practice meditation in the evening time, is going to be, in my opinion, way more powerful than in the morning. Now, the morning is the second most powerful time, but the evening by far, just like the evening time, this just like the winter solstice is going to be the most important time to really do this practice. Okay, because that's when the heart and the brain can really become way more in sync. So what we do is we bring the thoughts. We bring the thoughts. We really the and when I say thoughts, it's really what I'm saying is bringing the mind. I should say that, not thoughts, because some of us are just thinking, overthinking. So when I say thoughts, I'm really meaning to say mind, because we want to really connect the mind with something beyond this physical body. When we can connect the mind beyond the physical self, now we're not defined by the root. We're not defined by our appetite. Like Miss Joy, is it a woman? Joy Enlightenment Purpose said, I'm working on controlling my food intake. Well, this is the best way. This is the best way. I'm not going to say it's the only way, but it's the best way. And I'm going to share a personal story, a personal transformation that happened to me this year, once I finish talking about this. So when we can bring the mind, right, and connect the mind to a greater source, a greater awareness, when we can tap into the infinite, we can tap into the impossible. We have to do that with our mind, right? We have to turn within. We have to shut down the senses and bring our mind to something much greater than this technology, much greater than all of these things that we have around us, that we put so much value on. We have to tap into something far more greater than that. And then once we're able to do that, now we start to, because those things, while sounds great, see, now this is where I really begin to enjoy this level of practice. Because now when we bring the mind together with the heart, that's when the magic and the miracles happen. Because it is our ability to feel, especially our ability to create and generate emotions. And one of the things that I talked about, one of very powerful book. I'm sure maybe most of you, if not all of you, have read this book. Most of you have read this book. Is the 48 Laws of Power. And I can save you a whole lot of time. Now, it's a great, entertaining, historical. He gives, for each law, he gives a historical reference. So it's an amazing piece of literature. Should be in everybody's library. However, if you really wanted to get the again, like I'm going to talk about the secret of the secret. You want the secret of the 48 Laws of Power, all you have to do is read the introduction. And the introduction talks about how none of the laws would be possible without the control of your emotional self. So now, going back to just saying that, now going back to what I just said about these chakras, right? We have our mind. So I'm putting the top 3 chakras in the mind chakra and aligning that with the heart, because one thing you notice is that we got mind, right, which we should align with divine or divinity. And then we have root, food and sex, which it connects us with the animal. And so right in the middle, we got emotions, or we got the heart, which is our emotional center. So of course, if the root, right, the bottom three is in charge, then obviously that's going to take over the emotional body, which again, which is also going to take care. It's going to take control of all of this. There's going to be no connection to divinity, no creation, no connection to magic and miracles happening, because again, you're defined from the lower self. Someone asked a question on Instagram, would I say power is included in the lower three? Worldly power, yes. Power from not any real power, because real power is up here. Real power is beyond this physical. As I said, the 48 laws of power, it all talks about stuff on this earth plane, but it's again in the very beginning of the book. It's like, look, none of these laws. It's all about the emotions, but really, as I'm saying here. I mean, the emotions obviously is the center. Okay, because now when we have control of this, and we're daily doing a connection with the infinite. See, we're connecting with infinite. If you're on a nightly basis connecting to the infinite, to the source of where we truly come from. We don't, yeah, this came from our parents. This is just a mask, a face. We should all understand that we come from something far deeper, far greater, right? And we have to use that mind. But when we use that mind, that whole mind ability, and connect with the heart, connect with the 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 because the heart, or that feeling center, right? It can it can take us to dark, deep places when there's fear, when there's hurt, when there's jealousy, drama, trauma. But when there's joy, when there's love, there's gratitude, authenticity. See, connecting with the infinite, right? Nothing is impossible. We are only, I mean, they do all types of studies on this. They go deep with it, but we are only really, I mean, we our whole existence is conditioned based on our beliefs. We can do the supernatural, but we can't. We if you don't believe in this, if you don't even believe in the supernatural, you'll never do supernatural things. I'm here to make magic and miracles happen. I'm here to do the supernatural. I'm here to be supernatural. So I understand that it's not just me closing my eyes and connecting to the infinite. It's closing my eyes, connecting to the infinite, but then having that transform or take shape of my emotional center. my emotional feeling center, and building up my joy muscle, my love muscle, my hope muscle, my faith muscle, my belief in the supernatural muscle. And it makes just the anticipation of the supernatural or the magic and the miracles. So it makes life so wonderful to be able to anticipate, like, what magic is going to happen today. And then even when we can take, because I know most of us are not there, maybe most of us haven't been able to experience that or know what that is like, because you're experiencing just the opposite. You're still in the animal paradigm. You're still experiencing the drama and the lack and the misfortunes, right? And you're triggered negatively. Oh, I'm triggered almost every morning. I have to yell out a loud cry of joy. I can't do it now because my energy be so high in the morning, feeling so good every day. Now is my time where I'm shutting down. And I'm just not feeling like doing that. I do want to demonstrate it though, just so y'all can feel it, how good it feels. But I know that I'm not limited to this. As much as I would love to, uh, because one of the things I'm gonna tell y'all about, being in this lifestyle, raw foods, fasting, veganism. One of the ironies of really being connected to this is that many people will do this for beast reasons, for animal reasons, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's a definitely unfulfillingness about it. It's something that, because it's great to feel better, look better. It's great to not have to deal with some of the physical uh, uh, effects of a bad diet, right? But it don't always translate as far as all of the attributes of the divine life versus the beast life. So that's something I just wanted to, spat out. But really, just to bring some closure, or bring, to bring a summation to this. I like to think of it as basically three centers. We got the mind center, which is our masculine thoughts, and that's the electric part of ourselves, right? And then we have the heart center, the feeling center. As I say, the very popular book, I don't know if I have it, but whether I have it or not, y'all know it. Think and Grow Rich, right? I say that book should really be titled Think and Feel and Grow Rich, because thoughts are really nothing without feeling. And that really, because see, once our feelings become strong, you know, I talked about the love you so much mantra, the love you so much meditation, you know, bring that love muscle so strong. You know, it's hard to get agitated. I mean, because, you know, people are going to throw some negative energy at you, but it's just like a strong muscle, and, you know, somebody hit you and it bounced right off. It's like, you know, become so strong, you know, with your love and your joy and your gratitude. That now can start to take control. See, once these two are aligned with the infinite, right? The heart and the mind connected to the infinite. Now, because you got feelings, that's what creates the Wi-Fi, electromagnetic field, right? Because you got the thoughts, you got the feelings, which is the magnetism. People look at you, or they feel you. They're like, man, what's that person on? Because for the beast, for the animal, it's like, that person must be on drugs. Because that's what's used to disconnect, right? To disconnect from this physical. You got to do the shrooms, you got to do the marijuana, you got to do the ayahuasca. But see, that's when again, the root is in control. One of the things, just to share my little personal transformation I've had, it's a big one for me. You know, so I had a major vice, major vice, and at one point it was really controlling my life. And you know, over this past year, like I said, I've had a serious breakthrough with it. And it wasn't even like I was trying to overcome it per se. It just happened so naturally that now, I mean, there's nothing. It's like it don't even exist. So what was my vice? My vice was, I'm almost embarrassed. I mean, if you're in my inner circle, you know. But just to bring y'all all into my world a little bit, online chess. Yes, online chess was my vice. Chess.com. So if you go on chess.com, you can play. It basically opens up to the world of, basically worldwide. Just like we can connect, you can connect with somebody and play a live game right now with an actual person. I'm not playing against a computer, or, you know, or a bot or something like that. No, I'm playing against a person, whether they be in Jamaica, whether they be in Switzerland, whether they be in Russia. And it was I don't even know how many years. It was more than 5. I mean, I can say that I've easily played over 100,000 games. Easily. And sometimes when it was bad, I mean, I'd be up, I mean, almost till the sun was about to come up. And so it was bad. It was really bad. And you know, it was something that I had a tough time, because the adrenaline that it would produce, again, I was definitely operating from the lower shot. It felt great. I'd want to play again. But if I lost a game, oh, I really wanted to play again. And I was playing, the speed chess. So I was playing game after game after game after game. Oh, it was bad. It was terrible. It was terrible. This year, 2023, at first it was a cold turkey-ish kind of moment. I delete the apps, from all my devices, and I really started getting back into my spiritual knowledge and work, and I started meditating again, right? And I don't know, you we're sharing this because there's a big tournament at the end of the year. I even had a coach, and he runs this tournament, and the tournament is called the Black Knights. And I participated in a few years ago. I actually won an award for best newcomer. I beat like a couple players higher rated than me. But I declined the offer, because I was planning to go to the tournament, and I actually had time to do it. But then once I said, well, let me get on the app. I haven't played in some months. Let me get on the app and just tighten up my, just get some practice in before I actually play some real people at this tournament. And I think I played 2 games, and I just was like, I just shut it down. And it was really a moment for me. I mean, it's the first time in over 5 years. Well, I don't know when it was. It was more than 5 years, maybe 6 or 7. Actually, my son is 8. So it might have been the last 8 years. It might, or it might be longer than that. So again, just shut it down. So it really was a moment for me that now that using this practice, you can really, create transformation. You can really overcome addictions. I think really it's the only real way to overcome, because you have to, when you define by this physical, you have to go beyond it, because your physical is your physical, right? And you're only going to, if you never step onto a new paradigm, the old paradigm is always, yeah, you may be able to tame it, for some point, for some period of time, but only for it to come back with a vengeance, right? Yeah, I don't know the brother who started. I know who you're talking about. There was a brother. I think they did a movie on the brother who started the chess house in Southeast, I believe. I don't know the brother. I think they did a movie on that. Yeah, see, I mean, it's one thing. I mean, I love chess. I always love chess. It's one thing for me to play somebody, face to face. But man, you get on these apps, it's dangerous. Dangerous. I mean, social media, same thing. I mean, we using. I mean, these things. It's a blessing, but then obviously, if we're not in control, if we're not connected to the source, then the animal, because what's happening, it's firing all of these powerful hormone releases They become addictive. Let me check Instagram real quick. All right. So yeah, somebody, if you have any questions that you want to ask, like, you can always shoot me a message, and I will get to it. All right. So without further ado, the secret. What is the secret? You probably can get at, or you probably can figure out, like, what is the secret of the secret. For you know, but the secret itself, we know the law of attraction, right? If we go back, it's a great movie, it's some great people on there. Shout out to Michael Beckwith. I think that really put him on the map. Got a chance to meet him some years ago. This is when I actually started working as a chef. Right up here at Sinbad Cafe. He's actually from DC. Yeah, he's from DC. He was back home visiting his family. Him and his wife came to eat my food every day. So I was very honored and very, he's very gracious. But yeah, he's featured in that. If you haven't seen it, it's great. But we live in such this material culture, and America is at the heart of it in the world. And when we talk about the secret, right? Because the secret taps into some of these things that I'm talking about, especially with the practice of meditation. But the secret is like, okay, feel what you want. Again, feel. So think and then feel it as if it's already happened, right? That's our power, right? And our power specifically comes right here with the feeling. Once we can transform the emotions with the mind, but the mind being connected, right, we can make magic and miracles happen. But the secret of what is the secret of the secret? Because the secret, in the documentary, I I didn't watch it in preparation for this, so I may be unfairly saying this, but I can definitely say that most people took it as like, oh, this is something I can use to further myself in life. I can further, you know, as far as attracting money, job, career, love, relationships, accolades, fame, all material external things that again are a part, and nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But it's interesting because when I got into this work, like I said, I came into this knowledge and practice of this knowledge simultaneously when I decided to say, okay, I'm done with cooked food. This is this is this is year 2000. So now going on 24 years, I didn't just say, oh, okay, I'm doing raw food. No, I'm doing meditation. I'm doing this as my practice, as part of my practice. And even with some of the books that I was reading, and this predates, the documentary of The Secret. But when we talk about, because it was even one of the questions I had even back then. It's like, man, I can feel myself, because for me it was the same thing. It was like, all right, I have my thoughts, I have my feelings, and I can use my imagination to create the life that I want to have, right? First in my mind, feeling it as so, and creating and seeing it play out, right? Creating that magic, making those miracles happen. But now, circling back 24 years later, my greatest understanding, my greatest enlightenment of this practice is that the money, the job, the relationships, the career, the fame, the material, it's not about that. When you can tap into the higher self, the infinite, the source, marry the emotions with that source, just for the practice of connecting to that source. That's the goal. That's the secret of the secret. Because when we can feel joy and love and the higher emotions, and it don't matter how much money we have, it don't matter what our relationship status is, it don't matter what our career status is, and you feel so good based on having this, all of these things that everybody's fighting for in this hamster wheel that we call a city, right? Everybody's just on their hamster wheel where it's not enough time, it's not enough of anything, not enough money. That's the secret of the secret. Because the irony of it all is that when you can tap into that and not care about those things, all of those things get added onto you. It's just like, when you thirsting after a thing and you can never seem to get it, but when you forget about it or you stop thinking about it, it just comes to you. Yeah, that is the secret of the secret. So, I'm already in meditation mode. Um, and I do want to end this video at 60 minutes because Instagram, this is connected to the Instagram, and Instagram is 60 minutes, and I would have to, I could keep going, but we're going to leave it there. All of us should now go right from this to turning off the lights, putting on your meditation music, and going within. And connected to something greater, vaster. Because my wasn't flowing as far as in the communication way as good as I wanted to, but I did get out everything that I wanted to say tonight. And I want to say that I wish everyone a wonderful holiday, especially if you're getting time with your loved ones, your family. That is precious time. But even more precious than that is your time with yourself, and that self connecting to the infinite realm, the infinite possibilities, the infinite love, the infinite joy. That's what we're made of. But we got to tap into it. We got to work it, just like every other muscle in our body. All right. With that being said, we're coming up on the 60th minute. So I love you with my authentic. Thank you for sharing this journey with me, and you watching to the end. I really appreciate you and love you. Y'all know that. Peace and love and light. I will see y'all probably in a couple of days. Yes, the fast continues, and we'll see y'all. Love, peace.